Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really fundamental topic. Safety.
It really is fundamental, touches everything.
Exactly. We've got this document that lays out some core safety terms, the kind of language you hear a lot.
Mm-hmm. The jargon, sometimes?
Right. So our mission today is to sort of cut through that, offer you a bit of a shortcut to understanding what safety really means.
And how these terms fit together, not just in, say, a factory, but maybe more broadly, too.
Okay, let's dive in. So, safety itself. The basic idea is protection, right? Being protected from danger or risk or injury.
That's the core. Freedom from harm, essentially.
And in practice, like in workplaces, it's about having planned procedures and training and controls.
Yeah, things specifically designed to protect people, but also the environment, equipment, keeping things running smoothly and safely.
Okay, so to really get this, we need to nail down two key terms first. Hazard and risk. They sound similar, but they're different.
Very different, and the distinction is crucial.
So a hazard, that's just the potential source of harm, anything that could hurt someone.
Exactly. Think of it as the inherent dangerous thing or condition.
Mm-hmm.
A chemical, an unguarded machine, a slippery floor. That's the hazard.
Right. Potential. Got it. And risk.
Risk is where probability comes in.
Okay.
It's the chance, the likelihood that someone will actually be harmed by that hazard. And importantly, it often includes the severity, too. How bad the harm could be.
So using your slippery floor example, the floor is the hazard.
Yes.
But the risk depends on, how many people use that hallway, maybe if they're rushing.
Precisely. Or the lighting, or what kind of shoes people are wearing. The hazard exists, but the risk level changes based on circumstances and exposure. Understanding that difference is key to managing safety effectively. You target the risk.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, moving on to safety events. The one everyone wants to avoid is the accident.
Right, that's the unplanned event that actually does result in some kind of harm, injury, illness, damage.
But then there are these other terms, incident and near miss. They seem related.
They are. An incident is an unplanned event that could have caused harm, but didn't. It had the potential.
Okay.
And a near miss is very similar, sometimes used interchangeably. It's an event that didn't cause harm, but easily could have under slightly different circumstances. A close call, basically.
So an incident near miss, potential harm, but nobody got hurt.
Exactly. And here's the vital point.
Yeah.
Both are incredibly valuable. They're warnings.
Warnings.
Yes. Free lessons, you could say. Analyzing why an incident or near miss happened gives you critical information to prevent an actual accident without anyone having to suffer the consequences. Ignoring them is, well, it's like ignoring warning signs on the road.
That's a great way to put it, learning from the close calls. Okay, so we understand hazards, risks in these events. How do we actually control things? Let's talk tools. PPE comes up a lot.
Personal protective equipment. Helmets, gloves, safety glasses, boots.
Stuff you wear. But it's more than just gear, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a barrier. Often it's the last line of defense when you can't completely eliminate the hazard itself through engineering or procedures. Still crucial, though.
Okay. Then there's HIRA. Hazard identification and risk assessment.
Right. This is the systematic process, finding those potential hazards we talked about, then analyzing the associated risks.
And the goal is?
To figure out what controls are needed. It's proactive. It's the thinking part before you start the work.
Understood. And SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Step-by-step instructions, making sure routine tasks are done the same safe way every time. Consistency is key for safety.
Makes sense. Two more specific ones here. LOTO.
Lockout-Tagout. Very important for maintenance. It's a procedure to ensure machines are properly shut off, de-energized, and cannot be started up accidentally while someone's working on them.
Crucial. And PTW.
Permit to work. That's a formal check system for high-risk jobs. Think working in confined spaces or hot work like welding. It ensures all the precautions, checks, and authorizations are in place before that specific hazardous task begins.
Okay, that covers a lot of the preventative tools. What about when things go wrong? Emergency preparedness. The fire triangle.
Ah, yes. Simple but powerful. Heat, fuel, and oxygen. You need all three for most fires to start and keep burning.
And the principle is?
Remove any one side of the triangle and the fire goes out. That's the basis for firefighting and prevention. Remove the fuel, cool the heat, cut off the oxygen.
Clever. Then there's the ERP.
Emergency Response Plan. The documented plan for what to do in a major incident. Fire, evacuation, spill. Who does what? How to communicate. How to keep people safe.
And first aid, obviously important.
Immediate temporary care. Bridging the gap until professional help arrives. can make a huge difference.
Definitely. One last one. Toolbox talks, or TBTs, those short meetings.
Yeah, usually done right before work starts, maybe daily or weekly. They're quick, focused discussions on specific safety topics relevant to the day's tasks.
They seem simple, but I guess they're important.
Hugely important for reinforcing safety culture day to day, keeping safety top of mind, addressing immediate concerns right there on the job site.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground. So, bringing this back to you, the listener. Understanding these terms, hazard versus risk, incident versus accident, LOTO, HIRA, it gives you a framework, doesn't it?
It really does, a language to talk about safety more clearly.
Yeah, you can assess situations better, maybe ask better questions, whether it's at work, or even thinking about risks in, I don't know, planning a trip or using a new gadget.
It moves safety from being this vague concept to something more concrete and manageable.
So hopefully this deep dive has brought some clarity to these fundamental safety ideas.
Absolutely. And what strikes me is how these concepts, which sound quite technical, really form a kind of universal toolkit for thinking about risk. It's not just for factories.
That's true.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about how these principles identifying potential harm, figuring out the likelihood, learning from close calls apply in your own life, beyond the workplace. How do you manage risk when you, say, navigate online security, or even decide on a weekend activity? It's worth pondering how this safety mindset translates. Keep exploring it.